Polynesian voyagers, devoid of compasses or high-tech gear, navigated the expansive Pacific using nature's cues: stars, waves, currents, clouds, seaweed, and seabirds. They explored from Hawaii to Easter Island and New Zealand, possibly reaching South and North America before Columbus. This unparalleled colonization saga depicts masterful navigators discovering remote corners with remarkable skill, shaping diverse cultures across the Pacific Islands. Linguistic, genetic, and archaeological clues point to Taiwan and possibly the nearby South China coast as the origin of Polynesians' ancestors. Their journey began by heading south to the Philippines, then to New Guinea and the Bismarck Archipelago, where they intermingled with the local population. By 1300 BC, a distinct culture, the Lapita, emerged, notable for their unique pottery. These Polynesian forebears swiftly migrated eastward, reaching the Solomon Islands and then expanding to uninhabited territories like Vanuatu, New Caledonia, and Fiji. The Lapita pioneers were the trailblazers into remote Oceania, encountering a virtual human tabula rasa. It marked a fascinating chapter in human history, a migration unfolding against a backdrop of uncharted lands waiting to be shaped. By the 9th century BCE, the Lapita reached Tonga and Samoa, but expansion paused. Researchers highlight the challenges: greater distances between islands, sometimes spanning thousands of miles of open ocean, with winds and currents opposing eastward travel. Lapita boats may have struggled, and nearby coral atolls were unstable. Voyaging beyond Samoa might have encountered only coral reefs, lacking suitable land for settlement. During the pause, a distinct Polynesian culture flourished in Tonga and Samoa, where voyagers refined their skills. They innovated by creating double-hulled canoes, early catamarans lashed with coconut fiber and sails woven from pandanus tree leaves. These 60-foot vessels accommodated settlers, livestock, pigs, dogs, and chickens, and crops. Around 900 AD or 950, the major Polynesian expansion kicked off. Wayfinders or voyagers swiftly reached the Cook Islands, Society Islands, including Tahiti, and Marquesas Islands, eventually reaching the Hawaiian Islands. By approximately 1250, they had explored over 10 million square miles of the Pacific Ocean, discovering over 1,000 islands, including New Zealand. Not even the smallest, remotest islands like Pitcairn escaped their exploration. No one else globally could match this feat. Around 1000 AD, while Polynesians were mastering the Pacific, Europeans, including accomplished seamen like Vasco da Gama, were largely confined to coastal waters. Even as late as the 15th century, European exploration was primarily coastal, paling in comparison to the vast and daring voyages of the Polynesians. While the Polynesians lacked a written system, they preserved their achievements through oral traditions. Stories recount Hawaiian settlers' epic journey from Tahiti, spanning over 2,500 miles. In Hawaiian lore, the eastward migration symbolized reaching the realm of gods and ancestors, as the sun rises where they dwell. This spiritual connection likely fueled the continuation of eastward migration. Each island chain in Polynesia exhibited distinctive traits. Easter Island, for example, is renowned for its colossal stone statues. Despite these unique features, Polynesians shared related languages, worshipped a common pantheon of gods, and erected ritual sites with shared characteristics. During the zenith of Polynesian expansion, the islands maintained connections with one another. Their interaction was not a one-way departure. Rather, relationships endured, illustrating a continuity beyond mere origin and departure. Polynesians actively nurtured these ties, fostering a network that transcended the isolated beauty of each individual island. Leading experts overwhelmingly support the idea that Polynesians reached mainland South America, with the likelihood of a landfall rated at an astonishing 99.9%. Easter Island, just 2,200 miles from the South American coast, further supports this theory. Considering the precision of Polynesian navigators, who could pinpoint tiny islands in the vast Pacific, it's improbable that they would have missed a continent. The prevailing sentiment is that these intrepid voyagers would have pressed on until no more land was to be found. The genetic evidence strongly supports this claim. A 2020 study revealed that Polynesians from various islands carry a trace of DNA from indigenous South Americans, with the contact likely occurring around 800 years ago. Shortly after the Vikings, Europe's premier sailors of that era reached the Atlantic coast of the Americas. Archaeologists unearthed bottle gourds and sweet potatoes, both South American plants, at pre-Columbian Polynesian sites. While some speculate that sweet potatoes could have naturally dispersed across the Pacific, the consensus leans toward Polynesians intentionally bringing them back. The resilience of sweet potato tubers in water further supports this, as they tend to sink rather than float. Poultry bones discovered in Chile suggest that Polynesians introduced chickens to South America before Columbus, although some scientists have contested these findings. Additionally, studies analyzing skulls on a Chilean island identified distinct Polynesian characteristics. While the evidence linking Polynesians to North America is more limited, some experts contend that they likely landed there too. Notably, the sewn plank canoes used by the Chumash tribe in Southern California bear a resemblance to Polynesian vessels, adding to the intriguing possibility of Polynesian presence in North America. No evidence of Polynesian settlements has been discovered in the Americas, leaving the circumstances of their arrival uncertain, especially since these continents were already inhabited, unlike the Pacific islands they colonized. The question arises, did they depart and return? When Captain James Cook explored the Pacific in the late 1760 and 1770, marking the onset of Western imperialism, he marveled at the Polynesians' unparalleled sailing skills. The fact that one nation could span the vast expanse from New Zealand to Easter Island, covering almost a fourth of the globe's circumference, is truly extraordinary. Over time, as Western powers colonized islands and subdued native languages and cultures, they downplayed Polynesian achievements, wrongly assuming the people of the Pacific were inferior. False narratives suggested Polynesian sailors simply drifted with winds and currents. Compounding the issue, at the time of European contact, many Pacific Islanders had abandoned large ocean-going canoes. On Easter Island, for instance, the depletion of tall trees needed for these vessels had already occurred. These factors contributed to a distorted portrayal of Polynesian capabilities in the eyes of Western observers. The most devastating blow to the Polynesian population came with the onslaught of European diseases, causing widespread death and societal disintegration. The massive loss led to the adoption of Western sailing techniques by the dwindling Polynesian communities. However, a turning point occurred around 1976 when the Polynesian Voyaging Society, navigating without instruments, sailed from Hawaii to Tahiti. Since then, the Society has spearheaded various expeditions, including a global voyage from 2013 to 2017. This resurgence of traditional practices by the Polynesian Voyaging Society has become a beacon, inspiring cultures across the Pacific to reclaim their heritage. Double-hulled canoes once again grace the ocean, symbolizing a reconnection with ancient seafaring traditions that were nearly lost in the wake of European contact.